Hello, I'm GCM.
And I'm Jam.
Together we call ourselves the Guarding Dark because we were reading Discworld and we thought it sounded cool. And it still kind of does. I mean, we had the idea last night.
I like it. The logo looks fantastic. I'm not just saying that because I drew it. Shut up.
It's a team effort. So we found this video, which it's from somebody called Freelee the Banana Girl. And if you haven't heard of her, then she's basically... Okay, you know the character Storm from Tim Minchin's song of the same name? Well, if you don't, it's like she's a vegan, she's a massive hippie, she hates everything about society, all in one neat, extremely thin little package.
She is one of those people who thinks that if you eat animals, you're a murderer and you should totally die. Oh my god.
A mass murderer, let's be clear.
True. Like, if you're going to mass murder people or animals, I'd say animals on any given day or occasion. But hey, to each their own. Which is another phrase this lady hates.
Yeah, she does, actually. And actually, she has another video, not the video we're about to respond to, which in which she says that everyone who isn't vegan should die. So that gives you an idea of what kind of person she is. So let's get right to it.
Alright.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. Today's tutorial is about how to stand for nothing. Okay, so if you want to get the most out of these steps, you must be in an undercarb state. So throw out the fruit, the rice, the pasta, potatoes, all the carbohydrates. This will ensure that you are unhappy, vulnerable and pathetic.
Throw out the bread, throw out the... I don't know, meat, chips, junk food, basically half your fridge, because that's the stuff that contains most carbohydrates per bite or per meal. It's not like this lady advocates eating fruit like you're playing Ark and you're trying to conserve all your raw meat for feeding your carnivores.
She calls herself a fruitarian, like that's a thing. And it occurs to me that she is the one who's thrown out all of her carbohydrates. So, I mean, by her own argument, she's the brainless drone? I don't get it.
And that's something else you'll see a lot in this video. Just blatant, unapologetic hypocrisy. It's insane.
But we'll get to that. Step 1.
Worship the god of public opinion.
Because as everyone knows, there's a god for that. Those Greeks had all kinds of...
Yes, the god of public opinion was the god that, like, he had arguments with himself all the time.
Play it safe and accept your fate as a cookie cutter. This would definitely help you stand for nothing in life. You'll never feel lonely when 99% of the population falls into this category.
Hold on, I thought that acceptance was the last step. So it's like... Step 1, accept your fate. Step 2, this is why your fate is the way it is. Like...
It's step 1, accept your fate. Step 2, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step 3, profit!
Seriously though, this is like one of those arguments where she assumes that the premises are true, and therefore that proves that the premises are true. The Bible is true because the Bible says that the Bible is true.
Make sure you ignore your heart and just do what everyone else does in life. Be a good drone. Get a job that you hate. Have 2.5 kids.
Get a job that supports the family you love.
You monster.
Well, yeah, on a vegan diet, you will have 2.5 kids, because one of them will most likely be a stillborn.
Oh...
I know, I'm a horrible person.
Eat the diet that kills most of the population.
As the sort of person who she would consider fat, why don't you take this one?
Well, look, we're all gonna die anyway. Might as well enjoy our way to the grave. Like, it's... Look, the food you eat does have an impact on your health, obviously. But what has more of an impact is how active you keep yourself, how much exercise you do. And I'll be the first to admit I don't do the most exercise in the world. But that's because other things make me happy. I'm not going to be happy looking at my flat stomach in the mirror. I'm going to be happy looking at a maths textbook.
Buy all the shit the corporations tell you to buy.
Lady, you have an Apple MacBook Air. You're hardly in a position to be lecturing people about what drones they are for daring to buy things.
Oh my god. I bought a 3DS recently.
You capitalist pig!
And get a lifetime mortgage.
You know, it looks like we're dealing with somebody from the hard left here, but it really smacks of the conservative argument like, why can't you immediately afford a house like I got given to me by my parents? Like, a lifetime mortgage is a thing that people need for a house.
And besides, if you were to buy a house that you could afford, basically most of the population would be living in a caravan. I would like a house with several rooms that I can paint and I can fill with books and a dog and all of that stuff. And, you know, a house I can be happy in.
But you can't afford it.
Well, not necessarily, but if I have to spend 20 years repaying it, I'll be a lot happier at the end of that 20 years than if I spent all of my life living in a caravan.
You capitalist pig.
Being different will only bring you criticism and hate from the vast population of sheeple.
Oh, she said sheeple.
Being different will only bring you criticism and hate.
And 400,000 followers, apparently.
So learn to keep your opinion to yourself.
You mean like you do? On a YouTube channel?
They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right.
I'll be perfectly honest, when I first saw this bit, I thought this guy was a stand-up comedian. You know, the guy who exaggerates for comedic effect. Turns out he's a real live conspiracy theorist.
He's not just a real-life conspiracy theorist. This man's name is Jack Fresco. He's something like 90 whatever. He's bloody ancient. And he heads this organization called the Venus Project, which wants to create sustainable cities throughout the land and make everybody live happily ever after. And, well, basically he's a nutcase. What he does is he preaches anti-capitalist nonsense, which makes absolutely no sense in the current economic environment. It's unsustainable. You're never going to persuade anyone, any politician or any business owner, into the plan that he has in mind, which is basically everyone is subsidized throughout their entire lives with food, with water, with whatever they need, and all they have to do is just whatever they want. Because that's how we can run a stable economy.
Or society.
Well, you don't say.
You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago.
Man, I'm getting fucked so badly by the system now. Man, what am I gonna do?
I have no idea.
They don't want people doing that. They don't want people sitting around and thinking. People can sit around and think all they want. It's not about thinking. It's about action. It's about doing something. And everyone's too busy making themselves happy, which is fair enough. They're entitled to that. But everyone's too busy doing that instead of trying to make the world a better place.
I should point out that both this guy and Freelee are in fact doing nothing. They're just making themselves look good on stage.
Yep.
As far as YouTube as a stage.
Basically, yeah.
They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect.
This guy must have invented the word sheeple, I swear to God.
It's almost like he's saying that you don't need higher and higher degrees to get a job these days.
Well, it's almost like he's saying, nobody pay taxes.
Taxes are for losers.
Taxes are just a way for the system to screw you out of money.
No, but seriously, you can't get a job as a typewriter these days. you can't get a job as someone who works in the production line because most of that's been taken over by the machines.
And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
I'm guessing that all of the criminal friends on Wall Street are in fact lizard people.
I just can't stand the fear-mongering. They're coming for your pensions. They're coming for your social security number. You're going to be doomed. You're going to be replaced with one of the lizard people. Yeah.
Your businesses, your children, your very lives.
Bow to the power of Talos.
Step 2.
Talk a lot without saying much at all.
Aim to become one of those sheeple who talk and leave those of high standards glazed over with disinterest. Don't talk about anything with real substance, because sheeple will start to suspect you of having high standards, and you'll immediately lose friends and sales.
Does anyone want to guess who the person who decides what high standards and low standards are is? Why, look at that. It's Freelee the Banana Girl. She gets to decide all of your standards and all of your interests and whether they're substantial or insubstantial. Who would have thought?
Well, I'm just going to be a bit egotistical here. I study physics and mathematics, and I'm looking to be a particle physicist when I grow up more. She studies how to eat fruit, how to look thin and have a flat stomach.
Well, now that you put it like that...
Talk about the latest Hollywood gossip, the latest expensive superfood, armchair sports, the latest fashion.
I can confirm that she does at least 2 of those things.
Latest superfoods.
Hey guys, so unless you're Amish and don't watch TV, I'm pretty sure you've heard of Kim Kardashian's divorce. I mean, it's all over. It's on every magazine cover. When a bitch is trying to walk in KFC, they got the newspaper outside with her big ass up on it.
Okay.
Good one.
That was actually kind of funny.
Saying she got divorced after 72 days. First of all, my problem with Kim Kardashian is not how big her ass is and the fact that she's ugly. It's just the fact that I know so many trannies that do their makeup bomber than that bitch does.
Hang on, isn't she just complaining about the same thing that Freelee is complaining about, but from a slightly more sympathetic perspective? It's like, oh, this celebrity culture is bad. And Freelee is like, well, this person talking about how celebrity culture is bad.
I just think they're both vapid and shallow.
But at least one owns it.
Yeah.
Step 3.
Hang around people with low standards. Well, that's one way to get laid.
Low standards to be determined by Freelee the Banana Girl.
They're as common as concrete, people with low standards. So getting around them will be easy peasy. And this is going to be so important if you want to stand for nothing.
Talk a lot without saying much.
Take advice from those sheeple who have no fucking clue about health. The ones that recommend that you eat a diet including animal products. That has been proven to cause all the big hitters: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and obesity.
Now, it seems to me like this Freelee the Banana Girl person is from Australia because of her strong, very Australian-sounding accent, but apparently she hasn't learned about all of the other causes of other kinds of cancer other than the one that she's thinking of. Like skin cancer, caused by the sun. Stop eating sun, kids, it's bad for your health.
Or lung cancer, caused by smoking and drug taking via inhalation. She used to do drugs.
That's actually a thing that she used to do. Hypocrite.
Another good way is to spend your time getting trashed at nightclubs. This is a perfect place to meet other docile individuals who also have no standards.
I've never been to that many nightclubs myself, but I would never have described the atmosphere as docile.
what would you have against nightclubs? I mean, I get the concern you have with people eating meat, because on the one hand it can cause health issues if you eat too much. That makes sense. But nightclubs are a place where you go and you dance and you meet new people. I mean...
I've got it. She hates fun.
Actually, yes, I should have seen that coming.
It all makes sense now.
But be careful, those with high standards will easily sniff out your low standards. But then again, at pubs and clubs, this is less likely to happen. Really immerse yourself in the environment. Become part of the furniture. Literally.
So, people with low standards sniff out your high standards, and people with high standards sniff out your low standards. And both of these things are bad? Like, which option does she want us to take? Do we have high standards or low standards? Because it seems like we're hated either way.
I think our audience has low standards.
You capitalist pigs.
In Rotterdam, Holland, nightclub owner John Van Gallen has introduced a system of microchipping for his VIP patrons. It's almost like barcoding people.
Yeah, it is. Because every chip got a number, and the number corresponds to the name and the picture. That's the way it is, yeah. It is.
That's not being part of the furniture. I don't regularly scan my couch.
Maybe if you did, you'd find all the things behind it. Isn't this just like another form of identification? It's like, when you get your credit card, it's like they have a barcode on you. When you get your identification card, your driver's license, your social security number.
Wait. So is she saying that having a unique barcode on your body that can identify you wherever you go is a bad thing? On a related note, does she know that fingerprints exist?
The microchip has to be surgically inserted under the skin, which means you'll have to have it cut out if you want it removed.
And as we all know, things that require surgery are bad. Aren't there some forms of birth control that are inserted all the way into your body?
Yes. And they usually work for up to a couple of months.
Wow, that sounds really bad.
I know. What is wrong with having a chip in your arm? Like I said, fingerprinting is used to identify most people, or it can be used. So why don't we have things that we can implement into our bodies that identify us? On the one hand, it's actually safer than carrying around a bunch of cards. Because...
But on the other hand, it would be terrible, because you have a microchip in both hands.
Ha ha ha. Well, look at it this way. Like, if you have a credit card, somebody can steal it and use it to purchase stuff for themselves. If you have a credit card in your wrist, what are they going to do? Cut off your wrist and then bring it into the store, bleeding all over the clothes they just bought, and say, yeah, this is a valid form of ID? Bonk.
Did it hurt getting the chip in? Okay, can I have a look?
Yeah, of course.
It feels like a little grain of rice.
It's a rice, yeah.
You don't feel like you're giving up a little bit of your privacy, do you?
No. Yeah. It is nice to have. You can say, I have a chip in my arm. I'm the first one in the whole world. I have a chip. And, yeah.
I like how the reporter is clearly trying to be like, don't you think this is bad? Don't you, person with the microchip, think this is a bad thing somehow? Can I persuade you it's bad? And he's like, no, it's fine. I'm cool with it. That's why I got it. Look at it. Isn't it cool? And she has to accept that.
You may even rise to become the leader of your low standard group, and you'll start to feel like you stand for something, but you don't.
You mean like you, the leader of a YouTube channel with about 400,000 subscribers?
She never goes into any detail when she says what people should or shouldn't be standing for. Maybe it's because she has no idea.
I stand for chairs.
No, you sit for chairs.
No, I stand for chairs because all the other chairs are taken and I have to stand and wait.
Step 4.
Be a fence-sitter with no opinion.
As opposed to a radical fence-sitter.
People with low standards love fence sitting, so make sure you adopt that pastime.
This is a song in defense of the fence.
No one is threatened by a fence sitter. Just say, I love what everyone else does. Each to their own. It's their choice, even if that means they're a hypocrite.
Instead, you have to do everything exactly as Freelee the Banana Girl says.
Each to their own, even if that means you're a hypocrite. I believe everyone should be free to do whatever they like to do. And
Hypocrite.
I'm going to do what I like to do as well.
You hypocrite.
That destroys the planet, the animals, and their health. This way you avoid stress and integrity.
Animals eat other animals. Animals eat plants. Animals also affect the ecosystem. Humans are animals. Granted, we have learned to overconsume, and that's a problem, and destroying the planet is a problem, but acting like a complete and utter bitch isn't going to fix it.
Step 5.
Become a hater.
Haters are sheeple who try to drag people with high standards down to their low standard.
Still hasn't really given an indication of what a high standard is.
The hater down.
This hoe is fat for being a raw food vegan. I think she's sneaking some burgers on the side.
Yeah, I really look like I'm sneaking burgers.
Well, you do look unhealthy. Unhealthy in that you have an unhealthy obsession with the way you look.
I would just like to point out the MacBook Air that I told everyone about. There it is.
We have Bunny J. Thanks for watching my tutorial. We'll see you next week.
Oh, look at that humanizing little bunny. That humanizing little ball of fluff. Oh, I think she's a better person now.
I am actually really glad right now that you can feed rabbits vegan diets without them dying. She has other videos, you know. Specifically thinking about the one where she feeds her dogs all vegan food. All vegan raw food, actually. And they just look so desperate.
It actually sickens me. Remember, if you stand for nothing worthwhile...
You will fall for anything.
I hate this saying so much.
I think they've got it backwards. Everyone who uses this has it backwards. If you stand for something too much, that's when you start falling for anything.
If you stand for nothing, you can't fall for anything, because you're not taking an ideological stand.
She says, check out my new ebook and go fruit yourself into high standards. Link in the description.
Please buy. Give me more money. Please.
Wait, is that an ebook? You had to read that on a smartphone, you capitalist pig.
So that was the video, and honestly, it was just awful, hypocritical, and I can't stand this lady.
Inner North London, top floor flat, all white walls, white carpet, white cat, rice paper partitions, modern art and ambition. The host's a physician, bright bloke, has his own practice. His girlfriend's an actress, an old mate of ours from home. And they're always great fun, so to dinner we've come. The fifth guest is an unknown. The hosts have just thrown us together for a favour because this girl's just arrived from Australia, and she's the sister of someone or has some connection. As we make introductions, I admit I'm struck by her beauty. She is irrefutably fair, with dark eyes and dark hair. But as she sits, I admit I'm a little bit wary, because I notice the tip of the wing of a fairy tattooed on that popular area just above the derriere. And when she says, I'm Sagittarian, I confess a pigeonhole starts to form, and is immediately filled with pigeon when she says her name is Freelee, the Banana Girl.